make sure Peter's already.
You talk shit all like the MKB meetings?
No, come on. No, because what happens, you get in trouble.
No kidding, you?
Yeah. Well, you don't know who's out there to give you. It's like, whatever. You're on there to say something.
Yeah.
Somebody picks up and they do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's an awesome setup.
I don't know they do the order on those things yet.
My dad's question.
We are live.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call, we'll start with Joe.
Joe, are you chief?
Vic Tombrowski, AKA Grumpy Old Man.
Debbie Sherman.
Robert Carr.
Mike Husa.
Vinnie Canadella. Steve Kozak. All right. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. Do we have Mike, do we have a motion for approval of the 2/11/25 minutes?
So moved.
All right, discussion?
I just have one change.
Mhm.
On audience citizens, B has no person's name there, so it was just for that.
On the second audience of citizens, of that, the first one?
Right, I think I can still edit this.
All right. Anything else? Okay. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2/17/25 Board of Ed special meeting minutes.
Discussion. Or, I'm sorry, second.
Second.
Any discussion on this one? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstained? And the motion carries. Vinnie, do we have any board correspondence?
I did not receive anything, no.
Anyone says it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped audience citizens. I apologize. Do we have anybody for audience of citizens? Anyone for audience of citizens? Anyone for audience of citizens? All right, and we did board correspondence, my apologies. Information items. We do not have our student representatives. Does anybody have an update that's from them?
I do not, I was not aware they were not gonna be here tonight.
I know, I'm sorry to speak out. I was just with
It's okay.
Tracy Rose and she said Justin was on his way.
Okay, well, maybe we can come back to
Sorry
it.
to interrupt. Sorry, Brandon? Okay, sorry.
Is anybody opposed to coming back to it when they get here? They do? No? Okay. Information items B, fiscal year 23-24 annual finance report.
So I'm gonna start, then I'm gonna turn it over to Howard in a moment. I've always viewed the budget as a visionary document, a document that presents how we intend to spend the money the next fiscal year. It's a set of goals, a set of visions, it's a roadmap. Unfortunately, the minute you start the fiscal year day one, there is always changes to that roadmap. So how you end up spending the money is different than the actual budget process lays out the months beforehand. So what we envisioned creating this year was an annual financial report for the financial year the year before, and having that come out around budget time, which is now, which can showcase to the board of finance, the general community, how we actually spent the money from last year, because it tells the story of what the finances look like. So this is our first annual financial report that we're presenting to the board and sharing with the community. I want to thank Howard for putting it together, and I'm going to let him walk you through the document, and then he can answer any questions we have.
Just so we level set, this is the unaudited. The audit has not been finalized yet, so I don't think there'll be changes, but. So to start the executive, I'll start with the executive summary. The town allocated the Board of Education $33,972,629. We supplemented that with $2,090,659 of grant funding from federal and state sources. So we had a total funds available to us of $63,288. When we get down to the expenses and the actual expenditures for the general fund, we had $33,945,992, returning $26,637 back to the town. And in that number is the $49,900 that we put into the non-lapsing fund. That was a total expenditure, represents about 99.9% of the taxpayer allocated funds were utilized last year. Are there any questions on the breakout that I have there? Okay, we'll go to page 2. This is just a visual representation. As you can see, the largest expenditures here are salaries, employee benefits, being the two biggest pieces, making up about 70% of 73% of the total. The next is the way I labeled was direct educational expenditures, which we go down further in when we get more detail and then further in report. And then professional technical services, public utilities, facilities and maintenance. Although we spent a lot of money last time on facilities and maintenance last year, it still only rises to about 3% of the budget. And then athletics follows after that. Salaries in detail, administrators make up 9.8% of them, at 1.9 million almost. The largest is obviously teachers. We have 167 of them, and they make up 68.7% of the salaries budget, 13.28 million, 2.228 million, and then non-certified at 4.15 million at 21.5%, for total salaries of 19,265,000. Any questions?
How many non-certified?
Paraprofessionals, right now we have 40 in the current year.
Okay.
If we have to go, if you want custodians too and all that, because I don't have them, but I knew the paraprofessionals.
You don't have them, that's fine.
I think it's on the next page at the top, non-certified staff, 104 total.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's just not breaking it out if you want to break it out, sorry. Thank you.
With special ed, can we get a breakdown like we did last year of the number of students in each category? Okay.
And so all of these, so if you make a suggestion, what I would like is, because this is our first time through this, right? So if you do have suggestions, like other items that you would want on here for the next time we do this, just please let me know, because I'd like to add that and make the report as robust as we can for everything that you want to see and whatever the public wants to see as well.
Yeah, because I think in the past you had appendix of different things, different towns and stuff like that. And I think since special ed is obviously a big topic at the state and the federal, that a breakdown showing how many students are in what categories and how pairs and stuff are assigned to different areas, because that's a big part of the budget.
Okay, we'll do.
You were actually correct. It was 44, so I apologize.
Anything? All right, so total 298, when we say 290 positions, some of those are part-time, so it's not full-time employees. So I just want to make sure that the clarification on that. If we put it into full-time employees, I believe the number is in the 273, 74 range. Employee benefits, obviously the largest there is medical, dental, vision, 4.3 million. Pensions make up 704,000. Interesting enough, we are still part of the Connecticut Municipal Employees Pension Union, which charged right now this year it's going to be 17% in the budget. In doing another analysis for one of the negotiations that we're in, I noticed that there's a lot of towns have moved to again, this is more town, but I just want to make you aware of it too, have moved to a defined contribution plan away from a defined benefit plan. And they are anywhere between 5 and 10% is what they're contributing. So literally it would cut your budget by about 7 to 12% if you were able to get the town and to be able to move to a defined contribution plan versus being in the defined benefit plan that we are in. So it's just a food for thought, so that if you go back to the town, you start to talk to the town and the first selectman or the town, the finance council, it's something that you might want to think about.
Is that for all employees or only non-unionized?
It's only it's for all non-certified employees, because certified employees are part of TRB, that's something separate, as are the admins, because they were teachers at one time, right? So that type, but that's for custodians, secretaries, myself, I'm in it, so it's for everyone else gets that, and anyone that works over 20 hours gets it. So it's just something to think about because it would reduce your costs. Again, what would end up probably happening and have to happen with that, and again, but you gotta draw the line in the sand at some time, is that you would have to grandfather the people that are in it, and then all new employees would go into the defined contribution plan. That's where you would get your 7%. So over time, you would save it, but again, it's something to think about.
Do you have a rough number of the savings if we were to make the switch?
I do
just a
not.
percent, but
I know I can get you that though.
that'd be interesting.
It'd be a
'Cause,
lot.
yeah, I would
So
imagine.
1/3 of our groups are non-certified, of our employees are non-certified about?
Well, so we have 167 of teachers and another 13, so you're up to 180, so it's about 100 employees, give or take.
It's a method.
A third, right?
About 30.
Yeah, just a third.
Yeah.
Little under.
That's math, all right. And that would have to be negotiated with the bargaining unions? Or no, because you still have people in unions that are not certified, so is that part of the negotiation? Or we can just, like, health insurance kind of?
No, right, we have to
Work
be
at
negotiated, but you have to at least create the plan, right? The town has to, it's a step process that you have to get to. The town has to create the plan, and then you have to negotiate it in with the bargaining units. And generally, it's pretty easy, because you're saying everyone that's already in it stays in the old one. Any new employee, and when you're generally
Go for it.
negotiating,
Yeah.
it's, so
It's
that's.
definitely something maybe for the finance committee to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah,
about.
I just
we
think
should put it
it's-
on the agenda and, does our state, like, database tell us who's got which type, or is that a different research project?
That's a different research project. I'm only.
I have access to a product called Audit Analytics, and I have all the access to all the 401ks in the country and all who the audit people are and who the managers are, so maybe we can access that.
You need 403Bs, yeah, 403Bs.
I'm just using
I don't know,
401k generic.
I'm just saying, make sure it's, because
Yeah, I'm just using 401k generic, it's all kind of,
it's all there,
managed funds.
it's all the defined contribution.
yeah,
basically.
so let's put it on the agenda for a future meeting.
Social Security, Medicare, 500, it's a large one. Again, just so you're aware, teachers and admins don't pay into that because they're paying into TRB, so they only pay the Medicare portion of it at 1.45. Everyone else pays a 7.45, 7.65, sorry. Early retirement incentive, that was last year. Obviously, we had the 196,000 with 3.2% of the benefits. Workers' comp, $154,000. That's insurance to cover any workers' comp claims. And then we have travel reimbursements for a total of $6 million. Any questions regarding those?
It's just, this 6 million is in the, salaries number for the graph that's above.
No, it's the employee benefits in the red.
That's it, okay.
Red,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry, that's small. Trying to fit on the page.
I'm trying to go back and forth. There, yeah, I see it now.
Direct educational expenses are those are the impact on the students in Oxford Public Schools that represent the third largest expenditure. They are transportation, they are tuition, they're instructional supplies and equipment, educational software, and then there's miscellaneous other. The largest being transportation, $2 million, a little over $2 million. Tuition, which is for our all the out-of-district tuitions, both special education and the schools of choice. 1.5 million there. Instructional supplies, we spent $583,000. Educational software is $396,000. So again, you can see there's a lot of money being spent on direct impact to the students, and it makes up $4.6 million of the budget. Facilities maintenance, it was much higher last year at 1.245 million. Basically, a lot of that had to do with the deferred maintenance that occurred prior to last year. There's a lot of deferred maintenance that was put off, and so Mike and his team had to make up the difference, and they did. And I think they did an excellent job and an efficient job of getting that caught up. Public utilities, electricity, our favorite topic. $657,298 is what we spent last year. We're going to spend more this year simply because of those fees that have been added. Heating oil makes up 30% of utilities at $340,000, and then propane, water, and H&M make up the balance. But again, still it's $1.1 million in the budget.
How much of the last year's had some of that community fee in it? Wasn't there when it started?
It started July this
Well,
year.
it started July this year,
Yeah,
last year. All
July.
right. Got my
So
years.
technically fiscal year now. Professional services, $405,000. Legal services, $223,000. Property liability, $200,000. So those are the three biggest of the professional tactical expenditures. A lot of the professional services are coming out of sped. So that's a lot of services we provide there, but across the board. But again, sped brings up a lot of that. And then the last category I put in there was athletics. Stipends making up the largest part of that, they're 41% at 239,000. And professional services is the services there, is the referees, the game, the scorekeepers and all that we pay for. Transportation to get the athletes to and from, 71,000, and then the balance is made up of the rest, so. But total athletics is $572,000. Any questions?
Good summary, nice recap. When is the audit?
Right, it's happening now.
Well,
It's happening
the
now.
end time.
They supposed to end around March, April.
March, okay.
Anybody else? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Aaron. Number 6, action items, authorization for purchasing card program.
I'd like to make a motion for authorizing the Board of Education of Oxford Public Schools to enter into an agreement with the Bank of Montreal for a purchasing card program.
Or do you just explain the purpose of why we're making this?
So as you recall, we did have this once before, and we did it for JP Morgan Chase, and it was through the state of Connecticut. As we were, and I think I talked to, I don't know if it was just the finance or the entire board, but when we were entering into that and working our way through that setup of that program, the state decided they didn't want to work with JP Morgan Chase anymore and backed out of that, and went with Bank of Montreal, which they're still actually trying to work through, and because you still actually can't sign up with the Bank of Montreal. Then the Bank of Montreal, we're talking same bank, but it's through CASBO, which is the Connecticut Association of Business Officers. And so, but basically what ended up happening, you did approve a program, but it was through JP Morgan Chase. We stayed with JP Morgan Chase because they had said that they intended to offer the incentive for a percentage based on your spend to come back to you. However, when they finally figured out what they were going to do, the lowest tier was $500,000 of spend, which we cannot achieve on our own. So we are closing down that program and that card program, and we're going to move to this new program with Bank of Montreal. So that we can, because what that does is that we get included into the CASBO program, which is thousands of school districts around the country, and all that spend gets put together, and it's based on that the percentage back, it's our percentage of their percentage. So, but we still get a larger percentage back, and we will get something back. So I think it's a good idea to have the card program, because there's a lot of things that we're paying for with check right now that we can use a card on. The process still remains the same through the system. All the approvals, all of that happens exactly the same. Nothing changes. The only thing we have to approve is just to be able to sign the agreement with the Bank of Montreal.
Anybody got anything?
I have a couple of questions.
Mhm.
On the CASBO card proposal has different numbers than what you have on the resolution. Are we going with the numbers that are on the resolution? Because it has the chief operating officer on the proposal twice for 7,500, and then on the resolution it's 5,000. So I'm not sure which number.
Yeah, so there's 2 lines in that.
What page on
This
the?
one.
Page
This
one
one,
of the-
and if you look at the CASBO one, it's different.
So it has the superintendent at 7,500, assistant superintendent at 7,500, chief operating officer 7,500, chief operating officer 5,000 on the proposal.
That's our proposal.
And the resolution has them at
The
5.
CASBO shared one has different numbers.
Okay, so you can go with whatever numbers you want at the end of the
Okay,
day.
I'm just trying,
I don't know why I don't know when I changed that, or how it changed.
just wasn't sure if we needed to.
So
There's 2 different documents.
this is
There's,
this one.
It
This
looks
is the one.
almost like
and
It's the one
then
that's shared with the board.
chief
These are
operating
both.
officer,
The
chief
chief
operating
operating
officer.
I think one wasn't meant to be shared with the board.
Yes. Yes.
One was the
That's the
initial
CASBO
proposal
one.
for the
Go-
CASBO.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that you go with the 7,500, the higher levels for the
So the
officers.
resolution, you would want us to change
The
to
resolution would need to change.
to 7,500.
I apologize for that.
No, I just wanted
That's
to.
what we sent today.
I know.
Yeah.
So the
so when the
superintendent,
CASBO,
superintendent and assistant superintendent would be 7,500.
Along with the chief operating
No,
officer.
No, the COO as well. There's 2.
No,
No,
do not do the CASBO one, I'm sorry. You have to do the one that.
Resolution.
the resolution authorizing, that is the official
But
one.
they can amend it to 7,500.
But they can amend those three top ones, to say- if you want. I mean, you can leave them at 5,000, it's up to you. You can set the limits as to what they can have. That's totally.
I would keep it at 70. I mean, COO has a lot of components to facility and purchasing. Kind of more active than the others.
So we,
We need to amend the resolution.
Yeah.
So we'll need to I'll make a motion to amend the resolution authorizing the Board of Education of Oxford Public Schools to enter into an agreement with the Bank of Montreal for a purchasing card program. Whereas the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and chief operating officer will increase from 5,000 credit limit to 7,500 credit limit. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
nice job, Paul.
Thanks,
Do you
Mark.
wanna
Howard,
add
when
that,
you-
and I can go back with them?
Howard, when we do finance, just get when you finally close out a JP, if you can just get a confirmation that that whole account and everything is shut down. Thanks. Note it in the minutes or whatever.
Okay, report of the superintendent.
I'm gonna be rather brief. Last year, Dr. Poganowski and I started a program called Value Pins. We created 4 pins that represented the values that we were looking for most in our employees. And then we created a 5th one that represented role model. The role model represented an employee that demonstrated all of our values and stood out and above the rest of everybody. This evening, I'm going to be awarding the role model pin to Dr. Poganowski.
Oh, thank you.
A superintendent needs a partner that he or she can trust with their eyes closed. And I do that with you. You represent the highest quality of an educator, a person, and I could think of no better person to have run the school district with than you.
Thank you.
All right, second audience of citizens. Anybody? 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 Okay. Report of the chair or designate, excuse me, or designate. I'm also gonna keep this pretty short. Budget stuff is ongoing. We're waiting to send or at least send the budget to the Board of Finance for them to look at and to see what comes out of that. And then really the only other thing that I can report on is nurses negotiations is ongoing. It's going fairly well, and hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be wrapped up with that. And that's really all I have, except for once again, Dr. Miller's taking some vacation starting on Friday. And once again, thank you for everything you've done for the district.
Okay. With that public, you might have had to say one final thing there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yes, I am taking Friday off after this week. I want to thank the board for the opportunity to lead the school district. I want to thank our parents for allowing me to be their superintendent for 3.5 years, and thank just the wonderful staff that we have here. This is not a job that one does alone. This is a job that one does in collaboration. And our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our secretaries, administrators, monitors, everybody across the board put their heart and soul into this district, and we're better off because of that. And I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be their leader during this period of time. It's been an honor, it's been a privilege, and I wish only for the best for the children and the community of Oxford and the staff that work here.
Thank you, Dr. Miller.
I thought we had a long discussion last week. Are we gonna be able to make all the commitment? There should be a check.
We've worked things out so that Dr. Miller can help when he's needed.
So you
Well,
can what?
He can help out when he's needed during his vacation.
But we have staff and teachers evaluations that, I think as I wrote you, when Annie left, you didn't have any evaluations or anything, and it's took the clock back 3 years, you know? Are we gonna have that kind of data and stuff that?
Yes,
that go
we will be taking care of everything.
with them on vacation?
Yes. Everything will be.
Because if we go
taken care of.
back and we can't evaluate staff and teachers like we did with Annie, and have to go through another 6 years of just following along, I think that I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Let me answer that question. Principals and assistant principals evaluate their teachers on a regular basis as per the teacher evaluation plan. That's ongoing, that's something that is consistently done every single year. We have an evaluation system that those observations go into. Our administrators know what the cycle is, they keep up to, when we meet with them on a monthly basis, we're discussing with them to make sure that those are continuously being met in terms of the pace that needs to be done. In terms of the feedback that admins get on the observations themselves, that's something that Eric, as the director of curriculum instruction, does with them, reviewing the quality of evaluations and observations. My presence or lack of presence as superintendent in their office or not in their office does not stop or does not prevent the principals in schools from evaluating their teachers. And we have a formal evaluation plan that has been approved by the state of Connecticut on what the evaluation cycle is for teachers and for administrators.
Yeah, that, I know we had C, and we had C back with Annie, and we changed it. And we have changed different aspects of the new evaluation because of Eric. And I'm just saying that, you know, at the last time, we had nothing in the record, everybody was perfect, you know? And with no correspondence or no information as to how, be it private or whatever, in the records. So I'm just saying, I'm concerned that whoever gets to see that, Bob, that can be used, that you dig into that to make sure that as things come up, that we don't have an episode and the record is perfect and she, you know, she or he is a star thing and it's not true. So it's one of my concerns there, is that we do that, because I've been burned twice, so.
When I consider that as you have exception.
Yeah, so Dr. Miller, go ahead and finish, and then this is actually my report, so let's
Yes.
finish and then we'll move on.
We have an exceptional system in place. Our administrators know what they need to do on an annual basis. The data gets reported to the state. It's personal records, so it's confidential to that employee. And there's a process and a system in place to handle evaluations.
Okay,
I think that we're just taken by surprise because the end date was supposed to be the 14th and now it's not. So can you address
I don't
that in
think
your
we
report?
need to address that right now. This was something that
But I-
Dr. Miller decided.
But I think
It
it's a
had
legitimate
nothing to
question.
do with me or anyone from the board.
Well, somebody must have okayed it, so I
He's
think it does
taking
have to
vacation.
do with you.
She's taking.
We can address it after the meeting when we have the interim.
Yeah.
Meeting.
So I have a question, subcommittees,
Guys,
I mean,
this is my report.
okay.
Discussion is over. We can talk about it at our search committee meeting. Subcommittee reports, facilities.
We're gonna have a meeting tomorrow morning, 9 AM central office. Be going over bathroom project coming up. We're also gonna have some policies, probably gonna be shooting your way in the next month or so after we review them, kind of on the the facility level first, just going into security and buildings and stuff like that. Other things going on, the pool pump right now needs to be fixed or replaced. We're not sure exactly what that's gonna cost yet. Everything else are minor upgrades and just system requirements, but meeting tomorrow.
Okay. Curriculum?
We need to schedule a meeting, and that's one of my questions as to who to schedule that meeting with. Because our policy says we set schedule with the superintendent, so we can talk about that and figure out.
Yep.
But we need to schedule a meeting.
Policy and quality, Nicole?
We have a meeting scheduled for next Thursday.
Steve, finance?
We're working towards a February financial month end coming up in March. We'll review where we stand now that we're in the holding pattern with the Board of Finance and the budget process.
So, Molly, would you like to give a PTO update?
Sure, so I've been working with the PTO to be a liaison between the two so I can attend meetings and give you guys kind of a report back. Highlights, the Glow Run was super successful this year. The kids, the staff, and the principals did amazing. Amy is the only one who chose to be a Human Sunday without the shower cap, without anything. She went all in, so I have to give props to her for choosing to do that Human Sunday. You know, the PTO put a lot of work into it, and these ladies really deserve a round of applause because they did amazing. I know they raised into 6 figures this year, so that's really exciting. They were really proud, and it'll all work out. They have lots of field trips in the works. Maritime Aquarium, right now they're getting ready for one for Hensel and Gretel in Bridgeport, and it actually follows the curriculum here at GOES. So it'll be a combination of the English curriculum and what they're doing all at the same time. So it's a really cool thing. Audubon, lots of great things for the kids. They're working on a family skate night as a thank you, like ice skating night. I shouldn't say skate, ice skating night. So as to say thank you to the community for the Glow Run. So, that's it.
Thank you, Molly.
Can I?
Yeah.
I attended that meeting.
Yeah.
It was, fun and interesting, all the different programs that they do, and, how well they manage their money and, gather their money. And, I think, I guess gathering from that meeting, you're gonna be our representative.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know, if you knew that, so,
I did that.
okay, so, congratulations, and, so, I'd like to attend on and off just to see if,
I'll text you meetings, don't worry.
get some more suggestions in there.
Booster Club?
Hi. Our next meeting is March 5th, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Following that, we're gonna jump right into our senior planning. We're starting a little bit earlier than normal, which we'll talk about, we'll have scholarships, we'll have our senior lock-in, and getting parents involved to help out with that. We will also, we're trying to figure out, I talked to Debbie, and I think Sue brought it up last meeting, is take a stand. We're looking at, instead of doing a mock crash, is bringing in speakers, only because it seems that the crash happens year after year. So the kids, it's not really making an impact with what we would like it to make an impact. So looking into bringing in speakers, looking into finding money to bring in speakers. So I've been actively applying and trying to find that. We have our spring bingo on Thursday, April 24th. This is supposed to be our St. Patrick's Day bingo, but another organization in town is doing a bingo at the same time. So we didn't want a conflict, so we pushed it out to spring. And let's see. That's it. If anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to come to our meeting, you're more than welcome. It's Wednesday at the high school in the CAF at 7. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those, discussion, those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:03.